Well, howdy there, Internet students. This is Mr. Hermanson again. Here we're going to do lesson 10.6 for studying circles and arcs. So here's their first definition. An arc is part of a circle. We're going to find out that there are three types of arcs on a circle: a minor arc, a major arc, and a semicircle. And if you look at this first picture right here, AB is a semicircle, arc AB. Arc AC is a minor arc. And then for a major arc, you actually need like 3 letters to show that. Well, no, we have a major arc here. We can call it arc CAB is a major arc. All right. So go ahead and do this first problem so you can figure it out, and you can check back for my work on that. So if it travels 120 degrees, it will travel 21 inches, 1/3 of the total. All right. You should read through this and check it out. I sort of explained the part about the different types of arcs already. But take a moment and do that. So what are the minor arcs of circle C? Now there's quite a few of them here, but I'll just name a couple of them. AB is a minor arc. BE is a minor arc. ED is a minor arc. AD is a minor arc. Anything that is smaller than a semicircle is a minor arc. The semicircles are AE and BD. And a major arc would be something like AED or EDB, things like that. All right, got it? Why don't you try the next problem? Your work should look like that. Okay. Key concept, arc measure. The measure of a minor arc is equal to the measure of its corresponding central angle. So you can find the measure of an arc is equal to the measure of the angle. Now another thing we can talk about is the length of the arc, which would be different. It'd be part of the circumference. So the measure of every semicircle is 180. And just like line segments and angles, you can add 2 parts of the arcs together to get a bigger arc. All right, so finding the measure of arcs, arc TOU is the measure of arc TOU is equal to 60. Arc TUR is a semicircle, so that's going to equal 180. Arc STU is, we're going to add arcs TS and arcs TU together, so that would be 80. And then arc ROU will be 180 minus 60, which is 120. All right. Why don't you try these and see if you got your answers right. Here's your answers for that. Just a reminder of how you find the circumference of a circle. It's it's diameter times pi, or 2 times the radius times pi. And then we're going to use that to help us determine the lengths of arcs. Coplanar circles have the same center, are called concentric circles. So a merry-go-round has seats that are 7 feet from the center of the ride. Draw a little picture. That means our radius is 7 and 10 feet from the center. So the radius out to there would be 10. How much farther does a child seated on the outside loop travel than a child seated on the inside loop in one complete revolution? Well, on the outside, a child would travel the diameter, which would be 20 times pi. On the inside, a child would travel the diameter, which is 14 times pi. I'm doing the circumference. And if we subtract those two, we know how much further one does. So I'm just going to write that in terms of pi to start here. That'd be 6 times pi. And then if I needed to change that to like maybe the nearest hundredth, that would be about 18.85 feet. All right, got it? Why don't you try one here? How does that answer compare to yours? All right, we can measure the length of the arc by using the degrees that arc takes up of the circle. So like in problem 4 here, if we want to know the length of arc CD, this length of that line I'm drawing right there, we know that that takes up 1/4 of the circle, 90 degrees out of 360 equals 1/4. So that's going to be 1/4 of the circumference of the whole circle, which is 9 times pi. And if I wanted to leave that in terms of pi, I would just do 9 times 1/4, which is 9/4 times pi. On arc STR, remember STR is a major arc. So its length is going to be 260 degrees. I got that by subtracting the 100 from 360. So 260 out of 360. I'm going to simplify that fraction. That equals 13/18 of the total distance around the circle. And if I multiply that by the circumference of the circle is 8 pi. If I wanted to leave it in terms of pi, I would just simplify this fraction, 8/18, which is 4/9. 13 times 4 is 52/9 times pi. I'm going to go ahead and approximate that to the nearest hundredth. And that's about 18.15. All right. Looks like we're ready for some practice. Go ahead and do your practice, submit your answers on the Google form, and we'll talk to you soon.